Hey, boys and girls. It's time for Uncle Jay Explains the News. Now here's the guy who helps little minds understand big news stories, Uncle Jay.
Hi, boys and girls. Well, this week's news probably confused a lot of you, and that's okay because it confused a lot of grown-ups too, which is why Uncle Jay's news word for this week is perplex. Perplex. Kind of sounds like one of those drugs they advertise in Good Morning America to help your parents put up with you better. But no, it's actually a word that means confused. And this week's news confused a lot of people, so let's unconfuse it for you. The week started with a big story about the astronaut Lisa Nowak. I hope you saw her last year, boys and girls, when she was on the space shuttle. Awesome, dude! Well, last week she went on another dangerous mission in a specially equipped vehicle. And she wore special clothing to protect her from the dangerous atmospheric truck stops. And it might perplex you about why she got arrested this time. It's hard to explain, boys and girls. Try to imagine an episode of Star Trek mixed with an episode of Days of Our Lives, mixed with CSI, and a Depends commercial in the middle. I'm trying to do a family show here, boys and girls, as best I can do. And then, suddenly, this pathetic story about a pathetic woman whose life was a TV movie was completely upstaged by a pathetic story about a pathetic woman whose life was a TV movie. Anna Nicole Smith was not an astronaut, boys and girls. But she did hang around stars and hang around with other people who wore adult diapers. When she died, it made everybody forget about Lisa Nowak. In fact, maybe we should investigate the whereabouts of Lisa Nowak. Whereabouts, that means about where was Lisa Nowak. It doesn't have anything to do with the special clothing she had on, I think. There were some other stories in the news too, boys and girls, like President Bush's budget and Congress being completely different this year than it was last year, and more presidential candidates coming down the pike. But these other stories are more important. Well, now, boys and girls, it is time to answer one of your news questions. And this week it comes from Donnie in Seattle. Hi, Donnie. Donnie writes, Dear Uncle Jay, sometimes when we're watching the morning news shows during breakfast, my dad gets bored with an interview and changes the channel. But then the exact same politician is being interviewed by Diane Sawyer that we just saw being interviewed by Matt Lauer. How can someone do this on two different live shows? Thanks, Donnie. I can see how something like that would... And the answer is, politicians like to talk out of both sides of their mouths, and sometimes they can have each side in a different place. Well, boys and girls, send your questions about the news to Uncle Jay at UncleJayExplains.com. I'll see you next week when Uncle Jay explains the news, and remember, a good kid is good news.